Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the ARCA's Tech Talk. I'm your host, Kevin Kramers, the ARCA Technical Officer. As we started a couple weeks ago, our intent of these bi-weekly sessions is to review and provide explanations on various low-slope roofing concepts, their requirements in the ARCA Roofing Application Standards Manual, and how they can promote good roofing practice. I'm targeting the sessions to be about 10 minutes each, with the last 5 minutes open for questions and answers that I can provide on the chat. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into chat, and I will review the chat messages at the end. These sessions will be recorded and available online through the ARCA's website under the Resources Podcasts tab. Today we're going to be talking about something that we get quite a few questions on, and that is, will putting photovoltaics or PV systems on my roof affect my warranty? So before I delve right down into the answer for that, when we're talking about photovoltaic systems, we're really talking about two different types. We're going to be talking about either ballasted or rack-mounted systems. Simply said, rack-mounted systems are photovoltaic or solar arrays that are mounted directly to structural pedestals, posts, or sleepers that are mounted down and secured into the building structure, whereas ballasted photovoltaics are sitting directly on the membrane, on the roofing membrane itself, held in place by ballast or weight, which can be concrete pavers or a variety of other materials. At the ARCA, we recognize the rack-mounted systems as they have, we know how they are going to be attached to the structure and how they will affect the membrane and the structure itself. When we started back on this road in about 2017, there wasn't a lot of science with photovoltaics on roofs, or you'll hear it as PVRA, photovoltaic roof assemblies. And we knew that, there's a lot of other different membrane stresses on the roof, with wind uplift being one of them. And to date, even, there is no science on how, if you have the roof wind uplift on the roof, so you have the roof membrane billowing with the photovoltaics on top, those two still haven't been accounted for in one instance to see what kind of uplift there is on the PV system itself. So we really looked at, okay, we're only going to look at rack-mounted systems, and we won't discuss ballasted systems because that science is still coming. Differences between the two also relate to our standards, where only rack-mounted systems are in our standards manual. Now, we also understand that there is a lot of ballasted systems out there. The majority are ballasted systems because, to be quite honest, they're less expensive to install, and you can put a lot more photovoltaics on a roof than if you were to put them on rack-mounted systems. Some of the big things that we're very concerned about with the ballasted systems is drainage, making sure that the ballast loads and the racks that are directly on the roof membrane don't affect the water plane and the drainage of the roof. But for both ballasted and rack mounted, we are very concerned, and as the building owner should be, that the structural component of the building can accept that additional weight. I know in the new 2023 National Building Code Alberta edition, there are increased weight requirements for any type of photovoltaic system on the roof. It's been moved from the commentary section directly into the requirements under the building code. So having said that, and giving a little bit of background just with the PV systems on the roof, the question that we often get at the ARCA is, will a ballasted system affect a roof that I have under a warranty? So any roof that has an ARCA warranty certificate on it, the workmanship used to install that roof will not be affected by putting a ballasted photovoltaic array on top. If there are any workmanship issues that cause a leak in that roof, then the ARCA will continue to honor our 5, 10, or 15-year commitment to that building owner to replace or to repair any of those leaks caused by workmanship. What is not included is any damage or effects on that roof because of the photovoltaic system. We have seen a lot of photovoltaic systems installed where a lot of the debris and movement and wear on the roof because of that installation has caused some concerns with the membrane. That wouldn't be covered. So we treat the PV system on the roof the exact same as we do any other type of building equipment that's put on a roof. If you were to put on an air conditioning compressor or another HVAC unit or even an additional curb, we would look at those all the same. It's additional equipment that's put on the roof after the roofer of record has been on and finished the roof itself. The timeline that we like to see if a building owner is going to be putting ballasted PV on their roof is the roofing membrane is complete with its metal cap flashing. It's inspected by the ARCA accepted inspector prior to issuance of the warranty, and then the PV can be installed, the photovoltaic system can be installed. That way there's a clear delineation between the roofer's work and then how the roofer leaves that membrane system before another contractor, namely the photovoltaic or the electrical contractor, comes in to install that roof on there or to install the PV system. Again, making sure that the loading has been taken care of, the drainage plane has been taken care of. And then with any penetrations that have to be made for that ballasted PV system, they have to be, if it's an ARCA warranted roof, they have to be installed by an ARCA contractor. It doesn't have to be by the ARCA contractor of record that built the roof, although they're probably still finishing stuff up, they could do it, but it could be by any ARCA contractor. And that goes the same for any modifications that's on an ARCA warranted roof. Any ARCA contractor can fix or repair that roof. It does not always have to be the contractor of record. One thing that we want to also point in at the end here is that when that photovoltaic system gets installed, a big thing that is often forgotten about is the maintenance of the roof. Now, we have our recommendations in our standards manual of the walkways in between photovoltaic arrays, the clearance around the perimeter being 3 meters around the perimeter of the roof. Those are recommendations to ensure that the roofing contractor and the building owner can maintain that system for the lifespan of that membrane, be it 20, 30 years. They can go up there and make sure that the debris is removed from the roof. If there's any membrane flashings that need to be tended to, they can do that. Simple caulking joints, gum boxes, those kind of things, we can still access those areas. That's one of the requirements that we have in ours is you have to be able to access those areas of the roof so you don't have a penetration in the middle of a field for solar cells. All of this, what we're talking about with PV, we actually have 2 advisory bulletins on our website. One was put out in December of 2019, and it has all of the requirements and the recommendations for photovoltaics on roofs for low slope roofing. And we were being asked quite a bit as well too about photovoltaics on steep slope, on residences and on other steep slope projects like architectural standing seam metal. So we also developed recommendations for steep slope photovoltaics, and that was put out in December of 2021. Both of those advisory bulletins can be found under our technical tab, just going under the technical bulletins, and they are all listed in chronological order. So I see I have a couple of questions in the chat. I'm just going to open that up and see what it is. Someone asked, sometimes PV budgets are not approved for 1 to 2 years after completion of the project. Is that an issue with warranties, either with an ARCA warranty or manufacturer's warranty? And it's not. As I mentioned, putting PV on after the fact will not void the ARCA warranty. We continue to stand behind our contractors and the workmanship that they do on that roof. Another question, is there a difference between residential and commercial PV contractors or installers? I'll try to be polite here and say yes. With commercial installers, they are more aware of some of the intricacies, especially of low slope roofing, and how to ensure that they are installing those as they don't affect the primary reason for the roof is to keep the water out, being on low slope or steep slope. You would be surprised as what we've seen over the years by people going up and trying to put some solar onto different roofing planes. So our goal is to keep this nice and short and sweet, and it's getting almost to 3:15 here. So one thing, if you have any questions on PV, on roofing standards, or anything to like, please feel free to contact the ARCA at either our info@arcaonline.ca email or directly to myself. My email is technical@arcaonline.ca. Thank you for listening to this edition of ARCA's Tech Talks. All recordings will be uploaded to the ARCA website and can be found under the Podcast and Resources tab. Please join me in 2 weeks when we will be discussing who can make changes to a roof under warranty and how can those happen. If you have any topics or items that you would like discussed, please email the ARCA at info@arcaonline.ca with any of your Tech Talk ideas. Thanks, and have a great day.